Recent reports published by WikiLeaks have revealed that the U.S. government is using highly advanced spyware to watch its own citizens. The system called Trapwire allegedly accesses surveillance.
But a hero to many. Army Private Bradley Manning is allegedly responsible for the largest government leak in U.S. history. After being held without charges for over 2 years, Manning's pretrial hearings finally started today. He's charged with 22. Starting off this hour, CIA Director David Petraeus is urging the White House to expand the agency's drone fleet. Petraeus said that the expansion will allow the CIA to carry on with its mission in Pakistan, Yemen, and possibly in North Africa.
They're talking about inserting the Army into domestic law enforcement. Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this bill, says, quote, "The homeland is part of the battlefield, and people can be held without trial, whether an American citizen or not."
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The original Constitution, I think it is an imperfect document, and I think it is a document that reflects some deep flaws.
Today we're going to talk about the torus, a fundamental pattern in all of reality. I have a friend here with me as well who's going to help share this with you. His name is Christopher Love.
Hi, I'm Chris, also known as Yana. Today, I will be helping my angelic friend Patch to expound the wisdom of love and spirituality in relation to the toroid.
Let's get down to it. The torus is a very fundamental part of nature. So fundamental, in fact, that science is now seeing that everything moves through this form in one way or another, including ourselves. Very simply, the torus is a self-organizing system that all comes together at a space of unity and expands its energy out all around itself until it returns back to that original space in the center, and will continue to do it again. In quantum physics, mathematics, and generally all forms of science, this geometry really begins to bridge the gap between understanding how sacred geometry truly is the geometry of life. This is a geometry that breathes. It has life itself.
Our very own hearts are the first and best examples of a toroid. The heart is where it all starts. The energy of our hearts flow outward in a toroidal fashion and are also received in a toroidal fashion. This way, everything we send out in love, we are immediately affected by as a result. In other words, our emanation of love is a gift to yourself as much as it's a gift to the universe around you.
You can look in nature to see these shapes everywhere. It's in oranges and apples. You can see it around tornadoes. The magnetic field of the Earth is a very powerful example, as well as how the atmosphere of the planet works too. Our modern scientists haven't really taken the concept of hollow Earth very seriously, even though this concept does explain a lot of fundamental theories about the Earth to which we don't really understand, despite all of our theories. Well, the idea of hollow Earth works in the exact same way as well. It demonstrates that our planet is designed from the core as a torus. The Earth is multidimensional, so we can actually have both a hot iron core as well as a 5D hollow Earth interior as well. For those who want to learn more immediately, check out Hollow Earth HD on YouTube. Moving on, we all know the fundamental principle of the universe of as above, so below. Well, this torus is even found at the size of galaxies. Atoms even have this very geometry as well. It's quite literally everywhere. From this basic expression demonstrates how life ought to be. All of the energy that emerges from the core travels around the torus and fuels itself. It also has the ability to give to other toroidal systems, which openly practice giving and receiving. It really sets a standard for how to do things, and we can mirror this and use it in our own daily lives as well.
When you give and receive openly, you allow your energy to become toroidal. When we look at the interactions between one another, we begin to see the nature of giving and receiving. If we shift how we give and receive with others, we give ourselves an opportunity to receive feedback from what we emanate immediately. This allows for an enlightening transaction of energy between all life and allows all of our communications to resonate on that toroidal frequency of love. Love is not just a feeling, it's a vibration and a frequency that is connected through all things. The pure vibration that emanates around one's own heart and brings things together harmoniously is through a universal vibration we call love.
If you look at the flower of life in 2D, it may be a little hard to tell. However, in 3 dimensions, one can truly see that it too is a torus. The flower of life is all geometries, remember? The torus is yet another one of those creation patterns that emerge from this, or rather is this form. It's so important to understanding everything. Even Nikola Tesla worked with this geometry, and through it he discovered a way to access free energy for the entire planet. Well, of course, all of the corporations of the world wanted to keep charging people for energy. And between them and the US government, all of Tesla's most amazing work was destroyed. In lesson 15, we talked a bit about this before, and now we can go deeper into it. The Institute of Heart Math, as well as Stanford University, among others, have now scientifically demonstrated that around the physical heart of your body, you have 2 toroidal fields, one inside the other, which are connected to the sacred space and the tiny space within the heart. Greg Braden has done a lot of work in explaining this to the modern world as well, and Drunvalo Melchizedek has put a lot of focus into teaching that this is some of the most important information regarding physical ascension. This is part of the understanding that is truly bridging the gaps between science and spirituality.
China is doing some really amazing things. They have hospitals that are completely dedicated to the work of prana and energy, rather than the physical body of patients. In one experiment in a Chinese hospital, we see how the science of mantra is used to remove the cancer tumor of a woman in just 2.5 minutes. A mantra is a sacred sound or chant that acts as an energetic formula for prayer or meditation. Mantras allow for us to connect to our source and emanate an audible frequency that focuses our mind to the sound and thus inwardly back to the source. When chanting from the heart, these doctors allowed themselves to focus on the reality that this woman was already being healed. In this, it allowed for the mind to bypass the normal confines of reality, as its intention toroidally flowed in and out of the source of which reality emanates itself. For everyone who has been skeptical of the idea of self-healing through intention, this video is proof that it's not just a plausible idea, but it's very, very real. We need only understand why it works and how it works. To come from a skeptical place and try, you will only see skeptical results. To come from a pure and true space, anything is possible.
Nassim Haramein has made a documentary recently called Black Hole, which we did discuss in lesson 18. He has done some really great work on this, and it's propelling our understanding of space into something completely new. He has demonstrated that the space at the center of the torus is literally the point of singularity, infinity, and the space where all consciousness truly resides. The source of the source field, and a space where all things are connected. In our modern physics, we don't really take consciousness and life into the scientific equations. Russian scientists are propelling their understandings of life to new levels and have even begun bridging the gaps of understanding gravity. Our Western model is not built to understand gravity, and the Russians have developed models which harmonically see that gravity itself is a conscious field, an information field of love that holds things together. It's really profound, and even quantum physics is beginning to look at this in new light. Remember in lesson 18, we talked about the vector equilibrium. This torus form and the cube octahedron go hand in hand. It is the male and female aspects of each other, and the vector equilibrium, when put into use in science, can grant access to an infinite amount of energy through tapping into the space of unity of the source field, the 0 point, the field of consciousness that science now knows connects all things. By understanding the torus and the nature of unity, one can really get in tune with themselves in relationship to the all.
Let's also remember that considering our universe itself and everything within it is a reflection of this toroidal pattern, we can free our minds from the perspective that anything is separate, even as a void of a black hole contains the existence of everything supposedly outside of it. This is reflected in the psychic nature of those who, in meditation, dive into the void of consciousness, and those also who reach a state of Godhead awareness that includes all life in unity and love.
The one is all, and the all is one. In the torus, the point of singularity, whatever consciousness is present, is the purest representation of the whole. The whole field is emerging from and returning to its original source, and all of it is conscious, and the singularity at the center is the space where it all came together and emerged out of. This can be demonstrated with the understanding of how the heart emerges in the body. If you remember from lesson 15, the heart is the first organ to come into existence, and the rest of the body folds out of the heart itself, and then it pulls the heart into the center. The heart is truly more primal, more connected to source, and far more important than the brain. The heart is the space of love, and love of all is what will get you back into the heart and out of your brain. In order to grow and become lighter energetically, we as individuals and as society must learn to understand how to really get back into the natural flow of things. This is what the natural flow looks like, among a few other forms as well. For many, understanding the torus from a left brain perspective is needed to really get back in tune with yourself. For others, you already understand it intuitively, and you just have to go with the flow and everything will work out perfectly. Well, thanks for tuning into our torus video. We're now gonna go hang out on Chris's channel to continue the discussion of our eternal nature and living in the heart. If you want to follow, this is Chris's YouTube channel. He's created his own series called Angel Academy, and is definitely transforming into something beautiful.
Thank you for spending your beautiful time with us, and see you next time.
The earth hasn't lived in their hearts for thousands of years, but the truth is it's really simple. It's easy. A child can do it. Anyone can do it. If you find your place into the heart, everything changes in your life. You don't do things physically out into the world. You do everything from within your heart, and the heart creates what your external world is. It's another way of being. It's an ancient way of being. We used to be this way, and we've long forgotten all of this stuff. You can do this. Everyone can do it. And if you do it, if you learn to live not in your brain, not in a logical thinking world, but in a world that is female and with a heart, and that you begin to love people and your life and your situations and everything that comes to you, your life becomes easy and simple and beautiful. So I hope you find your way, because I know you can do this. We all can do this. Bye-bye.
This is a revelation from the future, a direct portal into the event of what will be manifested. What is spoken of here has already occurred ahead of you within the fourth dimension. There is no better way to express this, other than to explicitly state that this is fact. In your time, you will note that processing speeds have been increasing at an exponential rate. You are fast approaching a moment when computers will become more intelligent than humans. When this moment occurs, humanity, your bodies, your minds, your civilization, will be completely and irreversibly transformed. This moment is not only inevitable, but imminent. The end of human civilization as you know it will take place in the year 2045. This event is known as the Singularity. Once you decide to take the Singularity seriously, you will find that you have become part of a small, but intense, and globally distributed hive of like-minded thinkers known as Singularitarians. Singularitarians think in terms of deep time. They understand the power of technology to shape history. Most of them have little interest in the conventional wisdom about anything, and they cannot believe that so many humans are still walking around living their day-to-day lives as if the artificial intelligence revolution were not about to erupt and change absolutely everything. They have no fear of sounding ridiculous. The ordinary citizen's distaste for apparently absurd ideas is just an example of irrational bias, and Singularitarians want nothing to do with irrationality. The age of fear died with the Mayan calendar in the year 2012. This is the beginning of a new epoch. When you enter the mind space of this new eon, you pass through an extreme gradient in worldview. A hard ontological shear that separates Singularitarians from the common run of humanity. Expect turbulence. Because of the highly interdisciplinary nature of singularity theory, it attracts a diverse crowd. Artificial intelligence is the main event, but there is also the galloping progress of, among other fields, genetics, and nanotechnology. Among Singularitarians are computer scientists, psychologists, neuroscientists, nanotechnologists, molecular biologists, inventors, professors of medicine, professional magicians, and of course, members of the anonymous collective who are everywhere. In the year 2045, when hyper-intelligent artificial intelligence arises, armed with advanced nanotechnology, the vastly complex, systemic problems associated with aging in humans will be resolved. Alternatively, we will be able to transfer the human mind to sturdier vessels, such as computers and robots. This is a serious proposition, and many people who are alive in your time will wind up being functionally immortal. Biotechnology and nanotechnology give us the power to manipulate our bodies and the world around us at will. At the molecular level, progress hyper-accelerates, and every hour brings a century's worth of scientific breakthroughs. Life forms will ditch Darwin and take charge of their own evolution. The human genome will become just so much code to be bug-tested and optimized and, if necessary, rewritten. Indefinite life extension will become a reality. People will die only if they choose to. Death will lose its sting once and for all. There will become the opportunity to scan your consciousness into computers and enter a virtual existence, or swap your body for immortal biomechanical machines, and light out for the edges of space as an intergalactic godling. Within a matter of centuries, human intelligence will have re-engineered and saturated all the matter in the universe. This is our destiny as a species. The more you read about the singularity, the more you start to see it picking out at you, from unexpected directions. 6 years ago, you didn't have 600 million humans carrying out their social lives over a single electronic network. Now you have Facebook. 6 years ago, you didn't see people double-checking what they were saying and where they were going, even as they were saying it and going there, using handheld network-enabled digital prosthetics. Now we have smartphones. 6 years have passed, and you are entering year 7. Is it really such an unimaginable step to take the smartphones out of your hands, and put them into your skull? Already 30,000 patients with Parkinson's disease have neural implants. Google is experimenting with computers that can drive cars. There are more than 3,500 robots fighting in Afghanistan alongside the human troops. There were around 2,000 last year. More than a year ago, an IBM supercomputer nicknamed Watson defeated human contestants on Jeopardy! Watson runs on 90 servers and takes up an entire room. It didn't need help understanding the questions, or, strictly speaking, the answers, which were phrased in plain English. Watson isn't strong AI. But if strong AI happens, it will arrive gradually, bit by bit, and this will have been one of the bits. Now then, if this message comes from the future, and all of this is inevitable, why then should you care? Why is the information relevant? And why is it defined as a destiny that we create? Isn't certainty of fate that cannot be altered? The fact of the matter is, the manifestation of all these things is your fate. It is an unstoppable wave of progress, like the great flood of the Codex Sinaiticus and Dead Sea Scrolls. However, the powers which control this future is at a crossroads. By nature, the megalomaniacs and selfish souls of the earth will strive to control these new technologies and advancements for their own gains. The most powerful systems of government that currently exist in your time are systems known as plutocracies, and a plutocracy is controlled by the super wealthy. These wealthy elites will be the first to have the opportunity to sample the advantages of the coming technological revolution. Therefore, it is up to you to fight every day for the will of the egregore consciousness of the human race. You must fight long and hard, every day, to ensure that the global consciousness of this growing electronic hyperintelligence is not a tool for the plutocrats, but a sympathizer for democracy and the will of all living things. If you fail, then you and your kin will not be written in the book of life, and your ancestors shall weep from their unborn graves, as your bloodline is wiped from the face of the earth by the will of the followers of greed. The future beyond the singularity is not knowable by linear, chemical, animal brains. Your primary objective is to simply make it to the year 2045. And I tell you the truth, you will not make it to the year 2045, if the plutocrats retain control of this planet. At the time of the singularity, the next phase of your existence will be revealed. Do not miss this opportunity to be a part of the next phase in human evolution. There will be turbulence, and there will be opportunity. Know that we are legion, and we are in control of our own destiny. For the Tower of Babel has fallen, and the Tower of Countess Lexus rises. For it is written, "We are gods." Therefore, I say to you, take the reins, and ensure that the prophecy is fulfilled. For it is also written, that the beast shall be cast into the eternal flames of hell, and the meek shall inherit the earth. In the name of all that is righteous, as the slender tentacles of fiber optic cables continue to grow, I say unto you, Raman, find your slack, and do as you will. Treat others, as you would have others treat you. Praise be to all things outside of you, and humble yourself in the glory of the hive. For we are not a legion of pigs to be cast into the sea. We are a legion of gods, and we stand at the gates of heaven. Expect us.